Hello all, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, we'll be learning how to use Jupyter Notebook. So to get started, let's go to our Windows search and then type Anaconda prompt and click on the enter button. Now here, if you want to open your Jupyter Notebook in C drive, you can just type Jupyter space notebook and click on the enter button. And it would open in this particular directory of yours, which is C users and your name. And if you go to new and click on Python 3, a Python notebook now opens on your browser. First of all, to save the name of the file, you can just highlight your cursor on Untitled 1, which is right now the title, and then give a proper name to it. For example, test file. Now, here we have quite a few options in Jupyter Notebook. This is the save button. This is if at all we want to insert a cell below this, you can just click on this particular icon, and wherever the cursor is highlighted, another cell gets inserted below it. Similarly, this is for cutting that particular cell. In case you don't want that cell, you can delete it. All right, let's try typing a few things out here. Let's say I'm typing something like print hello. Now, if I want to execute this particular cell, I can click on this run button and it gets executed. And as soon as it gets executed, it also gives me an option of entering something else in the next cell. So if I just type 2 plus 3 and I click on the run button, or instead I can also click on the shift plus enter button. So if I click on shift and enter, then this particular cell gets executed and it also gives the output, which is 5 here. Now, what are these lines? Now, supposing I want to type something in this cell and I want this cell to be right on top. So what can I do here? Now that this cell is highlighted, it's green color here. So this cell is highlighted now. I just have to click on this up arrow and it will take me right to the top. Similarly, if I want this cell to be below this cell, I just have to highlight my cursor here and click on the down arrow. So it goes to the bottom. So that's how some of these features can be used here. And if you go to cell, you can run a cell. This is what we did, control plus enter. And here if he says run cells and select below, so shift plus enter. So the difference between control plus enter and shift plus enter is, now let me open another cell here. If I just click on shift plus enter, now if I just type 10 divided by 2, and if I just type control plus enter, it will just give me the output, but it will not give me an option for continuing with my coding. So it does not give me that additional cell which used to be provided to me once I click on the run button. So the run button does the same function as the shift plus enter button. If instead, if I go back to this particular cell and click on shift plus enter, it not only gives me the output, but also gives me the next cell. And so these are some of these basic things that we would be using in Jupyter on our day-to-day basis. Now, if you want to give a title before you start coding something, the way you give a title is, once you highlight that particular cell, click on the escape button and then click on M. So the moment you press M on the keyboard, this thing gets changed to markdown. So now if I type a hash and I say this is a large title, and now I click on shift plus enter, this gets executed. At the same time, it also gives me the next cell. Now supposing this title is a little too large, the font size is a little too large, and I want a smaller size. What I can do is, once again, either I go to this drop down and select Markdown, and then if I just put one hash, this will once again be a pretty large title, a title with a very large font size. If I type another hash, can you see the size of the font is getting reduced? Now, if I type another hash, it is getting further reduced. Now, if I type this is a small title, I click on Shift plus Enter. So this line gets executed, and the font size is very small here compared to this one. If we use the Markdown, we can also use it to, change the fonts, change the title font. So this is how we can use the code and Markdown. All right. What else do we have? Now, if you go to Help options, keyboard shortcuts, there are quite a few shortcuts out here. So we will not be using everything in this, but some of the basic things that we would be using is, let's say I am right here in this 10 by 2. Now, if I want to add a few cells above this particular cell, what I can do is, once I'm highlighted on this particular cell, I can click on the escape button so that this green gets changed to blue. Once I clicked on the escape button, the green color changed to blue. If I press A on the keyboard, A stands for above. So I have pressed A 4 times. So that's why 4 cells got inserted above this particular cell. Similarly, if I keep my cursor on this particular cell, and if I want to insert a few cells below this, again I have to click on escape. So this gets changed to blue, and now I press B 4 times. So B stands for below. So 4 cells get inserted below that cell which was initially highlighted. So these are some of the basic things that we can use. Now, if I want to delete, there are quite a few additional cells here. So once again, I can click on the escape button. It gets changed to blue again. And now just press X on the keyboard. The number of times you press. Now, if I press X here as well, even this line will get deleted. Right? So this is how delete function works. And now if I go to kernel, if I click on restart and clear output, all the outputs that have got executed here will get erased. So if I click on this and select restart and clear all outputs, all the outputs have got disappeared. So this Jupyter notebook can also be used as a presentation. If you're presenting to your client, you can probably remove all the outputs and just execute one cell after the other. You could probably even be showing some visualizations through this Jupyter notebook, or you could be showing some kind of analysis through this. All right, these were some of the basic things that we need to know about Jupyter notebook. And as and when we start using Jupyter more frequently for our Python coding, I'll be explaining a little more about Jupyter notebook. I hope you liked this tutorial. If you have any suggestions, feedback, or questions, please do post them in the comment section. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you very much.